And how do you rank? So I want to introduce Rachel to you. If you don't know her, Rachel lives in the States. Rachel is my sponsor, and we found Rachel when we were looking for this business on YouTube, watched many of her videos, and thought, man, we relate with this amazing girl and lady. And so we started 2 years ago with Rachel, and she's been in network marketing about 10, 11 years now. And Rachel has achieved massive success. You know, that was one of our conditions too, is to find somebody who's in the field working their business and who has had success, because that's the example that we need as leaders to put down to you as well. So Rachel is in the dungeons daily with the distributors, working her business. She has earned $4 million in this industry. She's only 33 years old. Is that right, Rach? Or 32, 31?
The story was way better when I was like 27, making millions. Like 33, but yeah, that's not bad now.
Yeah, and guys, she has invested in her business. She has invested in herself, in the self-development. Rachel, I know, has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in coaches so that she can bring more to us and help us. So guys, be honored today to hear from the one and only Rachel Jackson.
Thank you so much, Shar. And guys, I would like to start off with just like a brief, like 30-second little exercise. And I know it's really early for you guys. Hopefully you got your coffee or your bootleg Axio or something, like you have something that's like waking you up, or a Red Bull. I don't really care at this point. I just want your energy. And I'm just going to play a little bit of a song. I don't know if you guys know this. Can you hear it? Let's go. You know this song? Calvin Harris?
Yeah, you know it. Woohoo! Let's party. Come on.
Right? Okay, so I'm watching this. You guys just watching me, and you're not moving. Katie's got it. Katie's got the beat. Where is it? No matter. Come on, I'm not going to sing. You know, you just gotta feel it. And it's early, it's okay. There's a purpose for this. Let it go, just a little bit. Just a little movement, Susan. Yeah, I see it. Paula, come on. Let's go. Oh my God, okay, so this is one of my favorite ones. It is on my workout mix. You know, there's nothing like doing HIIT on the treadmill or jumping on the bike or lifting heavy stuff or pulling heavy stuff and be like, let's go, right? And so this is the whole kind of conversation today. I got a really short but hopefully impactful, powerful training to drop on you guys. And we're going to be talking about getting unstuck. Now, what does Calvin Harris, what does DJ mixing or, you know, dance music have to do with getting unstuck? Well, it actually has everything to do with getting unstuck. Now, many of you guys who are just popping in the Team Heart United group early this morning, you saw my cute little pedicure, right? How many of you guys saw the little sandals on the pavement, a little like note, hey, we got a call coming up. And the purpose was not to show you my ugly, veiny feet, because I don't think any feet are cute, but certainly not mine. They're giraffe feet. But I will tell you guys that that was a really interesting moment. And it was an interesting moment for me because that actually happened not too long ago, couple of weeks maybe, and I was walking outside of a gas station, and you know, you got a lot going on. You got cars over here, you got stores over here, you got traffic whizzing by, you have noises, and all of a sudden as I'm walking, you know, I'm looking to my car and something just catches my eye on the pavement. And what was it? It was a little nickel. And I was just thinking, I stopped for a moment and I'm like, oh my God, this nickel. And I began thinking, how long has this shopping center been here? How long was this pavement, you know, how long has it been since it was laid? And when did this little tiny nickel, a 5-cent piece here in the US, what, do you guys have nickels? Do you guys have those? Yeah, no? You're like, we don't even deal with coins anymore. Okay, so we have nickels, useless little SOBs, but this little coin is worth 5 pennies. And it got stuck in the pavement. One day it just happened to be dropped or scattered or thrown, and the little, you know, asphalt, roller came through, and he's done. He's stuck. He ain't going anywhere. And I began to think, oh my God, how many people get stuck in the pavement? How many people get stuck in the mud? How many people have exponential value, not 5 pennies, not 10 pennies, not $10, not even $10 million, but unbelievable limitless, priceless value. And because they cannot find a way to get out of the pavement, to get out of the way, their value is stuck. Their value will never be shared with the world. And I thought, oh, this little nickel didn't get to live his little destiny to like go from like pocket change to like a wallet to like some little girl's piggy bank. He didn't live his nickel destiny. He's stuck. And it made me a little sad. That's how my mind works, a little insight into my heart. But how many guys have ever felt that way? How many guys have felt stuck in the pavement? How many guys felt like no matter what, you couldn't move forward? Now, here's what I'll tell you guys. That's stuck in itself, that nobody's ever really truly stuck, right? All we have to do is change your state and change into momentum. Now, what's really interesting is that most of the time when I'm coaching or inspiring or mentoring top level leaders or even brand new pro ones and pro twos, I find a very common characteristics among all of you guys who are messaging me on a regular basis, who I'm talking to, or from any other country, is that we're all entrepreneurs. Now, we might speak a little differently. We have different backgrounds, but I want you guys to write this down. We all have an entrepreneurial personality type. Now, I'm not going to train on the entrepreneurial personality type today. Maybe I could come back in a month or two and share that with you guys in depth. But I want you guys to know that regardless if you talk loud or talk quiet, or whether you're introvert or whether you're extrovert, or whether you're a little weird, or whether you're really cool, or whether you were popular in school, or like me, kind of one of the geeks, it doesn't matter. You all are wired the same, which is why you have found yourself in Team Heart United and sharing our incredible Nerve 2 technology. Our entrepreneurial personality type, write this down, craves momentum. Our entrepreneur, like ourselves, just when I say that word, how many of you guys are like, ooh, momentum? I like momentum. Like a little buzzwords, like, oh yeah, that's what I want, right? And when you don't have momentum, forward progress, how many of you guys get anxious? How many of you guys get frustrated? How many of you guys get depressed? How many of you guys get irritated? How many of your friends or your spouse, they're like, why can't you just settle down? Why can't you just take a day off? Why can't you just turn it off? How many of you guys have heard this from your spouse? Be honest. Why can't you turn it off? You're like, I don't know. This is how I was wired. I can't explain it. I'm an entrepreneur, right? And then you're going on vacation because that's what your spouse wants you to do, right? Your husband wants you to do, your kids want you to do, and they're like begging you, begging you, come on, mom, come on, dad, let's go on a holiday. And all you can think about, day one on the beach, and you're like, this is so boring. I need to be in action. I need to be taking, I need to be putting forward progress. By day 3, you're like trying to like read a book, right? You're trying to like listen, throw in a little bit of earbud, like at a podcast, because not moving forward is death to you. How many of you guys relate to just feeling like, I just can't turn it off. I can't keep going. Now, it doesn't mean that all of us are like type A or aggressive, but we all have this internal need to go out and create change. And so because of this internal momentum, because of this drive, we can, like as females, if I can say the word, a lot of people call us bitches. How many of you guys have ever been called a bitch before? No, you're just an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur personality type. This is guys get totally like checked off. They're like, oh, okay, you're fine. It's okay for a guy to be aggressive. It's okay for a guy to go for it. It's okay for a guy to be anxious and pushy and like, but a woman who has that entrepreneur personality type, we get lumped as a bitch, as a bitch, right? So I just want to encourage you guys today that what you are feeling, the anxiousness and the desire to move forward, it was actually something breathed into you when you were still in your mama's womb. It was your destiny on this planet to be in the marketplace, and it's okay. It's okay to now realize that it's okay being unokay. It's okay being not okay. It's okay being frustrated. It's okay that, you always have this constant drive that seems to be insatiable. So we have to learn how to be aware of it, how to react to certain things, and really how to be intentional with our energy, with our movement, with our decisions. And this is how we get unstuck. And that's what I want to talk to you guys really here today. Now, I get a lot of messages from leaders in and outside of LifeVantage talking about the state of their business. And what they decide, they often will say that my business, My momentum is not at my current level of liking. I don't like where it's at. I'm not satisfied where it needs to be. And it's all because of blank, right? It's all because the company is messing up. It's all because my upline's a jerk. It's all because my downline is lazy. It's all because we don't have this product. It's all because of this, right? There's always like a pointing to a condition of why we don't have momentum. I want you to write this down. Your destiny is really being shaped by your decisions, not your conditions. So your decisions are shaping your life, not your conditions. And I want to share with you guys one thing that I realized, and I began to teach early in 2010. It was actually my first ever ebook that I ever wrote. You can't get it anymore, but it was The Authoritative Internet Network Marketing Roadmap, longest title ever. And I'll tell you guys, in that roadmap, I actually sold this. I told this, to win in business and to win in networking, all you got to do is create quality, so have quality, and be consistent. Now, most of us get so anxious because we want to create momentum, but anytime we get a roadblock, anytime there's something frustrating, anytime somebody's standing in our way, anytime there's an obstacle, anytime that we get into our own BS, we get into our own, self-limiting beliefs, the times where we stop, the times where we and our blueprint fails us and we start pulling back, getting off the pedal. How many of you guys begin when you create momentum, you start creating movement, you start creating action, then you pull off the pedal. You pull back, right? That is your blueprint. We need to change that here today. This is going to be a process for you in your journey. But quality and consistency is the recipe for success. I had this quote from Tony Robbins. I actually have two quotes from him today. The first quote is, we underestimate what we can do in a year. We overestimate what we can do in a year, but we underestimate what we can do in 3, 5, or 10 years. We overestimate what we can do in a year, but we underestimate what we can do in 3, 5, or 10 years. But RJ, I want your success, or RJ, I want your following. RJ, I want to enroll people from Facebook like you do. RJ, I want to attract other leaders. RJ, I want to be at this level. Okay, great. Quality and consistency. If you had only seen me 8 years ago, as a newbie networker, learning my story, reframing my blueprint, and creating a better state. Now, there's 3 decisions. If decisions are shaping your life, not your conditions, if decisions are shaping your life, not your conditions, there are 3 decisions that are truly shaping your destiny. The first decision, number 1, what do you want to focus on? Now, it's not what you're mandatory focusing on. Nobody's forcing you to focus on anything. What do you want to focus on? See, guys, write this down. Where you focus, energy flows. Whatever you focus on, energy flows, and energy turns into action. So do you guys naturally, just take a little bit of a checkup from the neck up. Do you focus on what's missing, or do you focus on what you have? Do you focus on, I'm not pro 5 yet. I'm not pro 4 yet. I haven't had any new customers join this week, or I haven't enrolled anybody in a month. Do you focus on what you don't have, what's missing out of your life, or do you focus on what you do have access to? Now, here's a curse. Most of us in life, we have all humans, 7 billion of us, though we're wired differently, we have one core need, and that's to be loved and to be accepted and to know that we're enough. Now, as an entrepreneurial personality type, we have an achiever's curse. You guys want to know what it is? This is the curse of the entrepreneurial personality type. It's, if I do more, then I'll finally be enough. If I do more, then I'll finally be enough. How many of you guys have found yourself performing for your parents as a kid, performing for your spouse, performing for your team? If I could just do more, if I could just make the house look perfect, if I could just have the perfect little Martha Stewart home parties and, the guests over, they can see how clean and how gorgeous everything is, then I'll be enough. If I just have the right car, then I'll be enough. If I could just get the promotion in my business or at my job, then I'll be enough. It's the achiever's curse. Here, I want you guys to reframe and begin to reframe your value. Your value is in the Most High God, number 1, and you are enough, which is why He sent His Son to pay for your sins. But I'm not getting on a religious tangent. But if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that some other time. Here's what I'll tell you on the achiever's curse. Your goal is not to do more, to have more, to be more. Your goal is just to progress. See, it's progress that equals happiness. If we're moving forward, if we're growing, even if things are hard, even if the numbers don't show it yet, but if you're moving forward as a person and you're growing as an entrepreneur, if you're growing as a human being and becoming, more emotionally intelligent and spiritually mature, and you're growing and you're moving, it's like weight loss. Many of us have a big physical or had physical goals in our life. As long as you're progressing, right? You see that little bit half-pound weight loss, that 1 pound weight loss, it's going to make you feel like it's all worth it in the end. Now, there is an art and a science to success. There's an art and science to success. There's a science to achievement, and there's an art to fulfillment. Here's my second Tony Robbins quote. Tony Robbins says that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. So many people come to me and they're making 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 grand a month. And you know how many of them are absolutely unfulfilled? How many of them are absolutely just totally lost when it comes to knowing their identity, feeling like they're walking in their purpose and finding happiness because they have no progress? Guys, the last thing I want you to do is to go go win the whole world and lose your soul. I don't want you to get to 10 grand a month and be miserable. You got to know how to be fulfilled, and fulfillment comes from progress. It comes from growing. It comes from contributing and making a difference to other people. Now, here's the amazing thing about focus. We're still on the 3 decisions. The first decision was, what do you want to focus on? Because you can choose. You can choose every day what you focus on, what you have or what you don't have. Gratitude or lack. What is your state? What is your, thermostat at? We all have a thermostat. We all have homeostasis. Where are you sitting in? Is it lack or is it abundance? You get to choose. Now, on focus, here's the amazing thing. If you focus on what you want, maybe it's Pro 3, Pro 4, Pro 5, Pro 7, Pro 8. Like, you have the focus, right? My question to you is, are you guaranteed to succeed? No. There's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantee. Like, you can say, this is exactly what I want. And sometimes life throws us curveballs. Sometimes God has other plans for us. Like, we don't know. But if you focus on what you don't want, are you guaranteed to get that? 100%. Now, it's so crazy. I hear about these stories all the time. We live in the desert, and it's really beautiful around us. We have a lot of trees and mountains and stuff. But you get a little bit out into like the valleys, and you'll go on these long stretches of highway, and there's nothing. Like, guys, there is nothing. Like, just dirt and tumbleweeds and some cactus and like brush, and that's it. And then about once every quarter of a mile, there's a telephone pole. There's an electricity pole, right? So every fourth of a mile, you have a brand new pole. And I hear these stories of these people that go off the road on like Highway 247, and they go smack dab head first into the pole. You guys have seen this, right? Like, there's nothing for miles. Like, you probably had these stories in Australia. Nothing for miles. People go off the road, and there's one tree, like this one giant oak, and they hit it. How many of you guys have seen a story of this sometime in your life? Like, boom, like right into something. Because chances are, when they lost control, they started looking at the pole, and they say, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole, don't hit the pole. And what do? They steered right into exactly what they focused on. Is this making sense to you guys? Give me a little head nod if this is making sense. So if you focus on what you want, are you guaranteed to get it? No. But if you focus on what you don't want, are you guaranteed to crash? The answer is yes. The second decision that we can make in this is, number 1 is, what do you want to focus on? Number 2 is, what does it mean? What does it mean? Like, what does this mean? Like, if I focus on, I'm not a Pro 5 yet. I'm not Pro 7 yet. Or I haven't gone full time yet. Or I'm not this yet. Or I'm not 130 pounds. Or I'm not, 66 kilos or whatever you guys do. Like, I'm not this or I'm not that. I'm not a size here. I'm not a size 5. What does it mean? See, self-awareness and actually starting to ask yourself the question, okay, this is what my blueprint is. This is what the thing that's bothering me. This is the thing I'm obsessed with, that I'm ultra focused on right now. What does it mean? Write this down. There's only one thing that screws you up. It's a limiting belief that you don't investigate. It's a limiting belief that you don't investigate and then you just accept. I mean, who came up with the phrase, well, you made your bed, yeah, you got to lay in it. No, you had a consequence, you did something, but now we have the ability to change it. So you ask yourself, where does this mean? Spiritually, I teach this all the time. And I always talk about having a tree and having fruit. Okay? So our life, underneath the surface, underneath the ground, we have roots, right? All trees have roots. It's where it's getting its water and its nutrients and minerals from the soil. So whenever you have a tree and you have fruit, that fruit, you need to follow that fruit down to the root and see, where did it come from? Where did this come from? Where did this lack of belief? Where did this frustration come from? Where did this desire or need? Like some of you guys who want to get fit, you think it's just, oh, I want to be a size 5. It's not. It's a desire to be loved and accepted. And you feel like, hey, my story is attached to, I better be a size 5 or I'm not going to be loved or accepted by my friends. I'm not going to fit in. My husband won't find me attractive. So nothing screws you up more than a limiting belief that you don't investigate. I'll never be a leader. People will never follow me. I'll never attract the right people. I'm never going to make this work. These types of things, they're only dangerous when you don't investigate them. You got to follow the fruit to the root. Where did it start? The third decision is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So now you know what you're focusing on. You've learned what it means. Now what are you going to do? Now I'll share with you guys some tips on getting unstuck. How many of you guys want a little tip on getting unstuck, right? Like getting unstuck, moving forward, absolutely crushing it, going to your goals, okay? Of course you do. You're all entrepreneur personality types. You're like, yes, give me the goals. Like, give me the goodness, okay? So we have two forces that really influence our decisions. So if our decisions form our destiny, not our conditions, there's two things that really impact it. And again, I can't go into super deep, but I want to just open this up for conversation today. I want to hopefully whet your whistle to go start to do this work. So the two forces that dictate your decisions, that influence your decisions, number one is your state. This is why we started with Calvin Harris. Right? Because here's the amazing thing. It's hard to listen to Calvin Harris and be pissed off. But guys, how many of you guys know when you're pissed off, when you're stressed out, when you're depressed, when you're overwhelmed, you can't fight your way out of a paper bag. You can't fight your way out of a paper bag. So you need to learn how to train yourself, snap yourself out of that funk, physically get out of it. So your state, that's your moment to moment, how you feel, how's your physiology, how's your emotions. Now we all have feelings, but guys, we have a divine power that we can tap into in our maker that allows us not to be dictated by our feelings, but we can actually transcend them and become much better and much stronger and emotionally secure. Amen. So your state is your moment to moment. That dictates your decisions. How many of you guys have made crummy decisions in a bad state? How many of you guys said something in a bad state that you regret? How many of you guys did something? How many of you guys I'm like, there's so many times where I've been like rushing, I'm frustrated, I'm running late, I overslept my alarm, all this sort of stuff. And then like I get into the kitchen and I like spill an entire protein shake all over the floor, or like entire Axio like everywhere. And I'm like, ah, right? So it's just your state. It's the moment to moment. They influence our decisions and how we act. The long-term force that dictates and influences our decisions and getting unstuck is our blueprint. Now, I don't have a lot of time to go into this today, but your blueprint is your identity. We have a thermostat, like I shared. And, our strongest pull in human creation is our desire to stay consistent with our identity. So if you've created a blueprint that you're not a good leader, that nobody will find you or nobody will follow you, that you're never going to be successful, when are you going to get it, Sally? When are you going to get it, Susan? Like, when are you going to make sense out of this? And you constantly tell yourself that you're always going to be overweight, the weight's never going to come off, he's never going to love me the way he loved his first wife, or whatever it is. You create this blueprint and it becomes your set point. It becomes your set point on the thermostat. So let's say, for example, you're at 78 degrees. It's a beautiful, perfect weather here in Arizona, 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And 78 degrees Fahrenheit is like, let's just say that's your identity. That's your sweet spot. That's your homeostasis. That's your set point. And then all of a sudden surrounds you with a ton of 72 degree people. and things and circumstances and all this sort of stuff. And what happens is you might say, hey, I'm strong at 78. I'm strong. But over time, if you do not watch your blueprint, you will down regulate to 72. And then soon enough, you'll be down regulating to 68. And then you'll be down to 54. And do you think people who are a 54-degree person, do you think that they hang out with 78-degree person anymore? Do you think they surround themselves with 78-degree positive, encouraging, uplifting, motivated, driven, awesome people? No. And so you begin to downregulate your life. And this is why I see people that constantly have great potential, but they start to downregulate and change their blueprint to basically become mediocre. So these things are your state, your moment to moment, and your long-term blueprint, okay? I want you to write this all down. It's so hard when I'm mentoring. People come to me and complain. My favorite is the people who don't think they complain, and they're the biggest complainers. It's the same thing with dramatic people. They're like, I hate drama. I'm like, you're the most dramatic person I know. Like, you're just like, oh my God, but you can't tell them, right? You know, you can't tell them. So like, people come to me and they complain, and I get it. We all have our moments in venting. And if you have an issue, feel free to go upline. That's your, that's the lifeline to go upline. It's cool. Like it's a safe place. It's all good. But don't be a massive complainer, because here's the thing. Here's the truth. Here's 100% truth. Write this down in big, bold, capital letters. We all get what we tolerate. Everything you have right now, and you can be like, oh, no, I didn't ask for my husband to be a cheat. I didn't ask for my son to be a drunk. I didn't ask for my business to start falling backwards. I didn't ask for this. Oh, let's just take a closer look. Let's take an honest look and see, because the truth is we all get what we tolerate. How many of you guys have known people, or maybe you yourself, you don't have to say you, but like raise your hand if you know somebody who's been in an abusive relationship. One of my best friends was in a women's shelter earlier in her life, like literally took her kids, got out of an abusive relationship and stayed in a women's shelter, okay? And you might say, oh my God, like, that was so horrible. She didn't ask for that. Well, she tolerated it. It's tolerated with the first time that he pushed her. It tolerated the first time that he slapped her around. It tolerated the first time that he shoved her down the stairs, right? And probably the first time he got super verbally in her face without even like punching her, that's when it started. She tolerated it. Because her blueprint said that I am not worthy, I am not good enough. If I leave, I'll have nobody, I will never be, I'll never have anybody, and I'll be miserable. So I guess this is what I deserve, okay? So what is a breakthrough? As we close, what is a breakthrough? Everyone has had a breakthrough in their life, right? How many of you guys have had a breakthrough at some point? Something like, you're like, okay, I moved forward. You created some good momentum. You crushed it in business. You crushed it personally. Maybe you had a breakthrough as a parent. Maybe you had a breakthrough as a spouse, or maybe in your job. You guys have all had breakthroughs, right? You can think about a moment that you had a breakthrough. I think about the moment that I had a breakthrough, and this is what it is. A breakthrough is the moment you made a decision. It's the moment you made a decision. So I think back to a lot of people asking me, what changed? How could you go from $3,000 a month to 50 grand a month? Because I was at $3,000 a month for 4.5 years. Well, number one was I got out of a crummy vehicle and I found Team Heart. Having the right people around me, great thermostat, positive, encouraging, phenomenal system. It was great. But I ultimately made a decision. At that time, it was February 2011. My husband had already claimed bankruptcy. We had lost 3 homes and a commercial building. So we had lost our business. We had to fire 3 employees. And so we lost everything. We were at $1 million in debt, had to do the bankruptcy. And now we are starting to rebuild our life. And in fact, it was going pretty good. For a year, we worked in mortgages. We were able to save up $20,000 cash in our bank account, working $12 an hour. We saved up $20,000 cash. We bought a home in Texas. We moved, and the job that Josh had lined up went away. So for 7 months, he was unemployed, and I was a failed network marketer. And I was spending every dollar that came in, trying to advertise, trying to grow my business forward, trying to make money, trying to put food on the table. And within 7 months, the 20 grand was gone. Almost. I had $1,178 in my bank account, and I had a mortgage payment that was due. It was $1,319. So I was short. And I had to make a decision at that moment. Either I was going to go pawn something again, because I already had sold all this stuff on Craigslist for years, trying to like make our businesses work and pay our mortgages and trying to get out of debt. I mean, I was selling anything that wasn't nailed down. We had just got out of that hole. And at 26 years old, I said, I am not going to go through this again. I am never going to be broke again. I made the decision that day. My back was against the wall. I was going to make it happen. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. I changed my state. I changed my story. All of a sudden, everything that I needed to do, there was no option to be stuck. There was no option to be that nickel in the pavement. There was no option but to move forward and to create a result. Because it was in that moment that I made a decision to not take my excuses anymore. I decided to fall in love with my results. I decided to be coachable. I decided to put my head down and see how far could I actually take this? How big could I actually build this? What if I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do everything my upline says, even if it sounds dumb or stupid or crazy. And I did it. And I put my head down. And in 7 months, we went from 0 to 50 grand a month. Within a year, we were at $1 million a year. My second year in that business, we made $1.1 million. That story was a story that helped launch Team Heart, which is now $1 million a month brand. It's having 2,000 people a month join this team, and you guys are a big part of that because I made a decision. So I want you guys to know, like, all of the breakthrough that you need to make a decision, all you need to do is you need to have that moment. Now I'm going to give you these last 3 tools to get unstuck. So the first one, I'm going to go from 3, 2, 1. So the third one, we'll work our way down to the most important. The third thing that you need to get unstuck is a strategy. Now guys, Charlotte and your leaders have already, and teamheart.net have already put together this strategy. We already have the videos that you need, the tools that you need, launch, learn, lead. You have everything at your fingertips. We don't need to get into strategy. Some people focus fully on the strategy, and that's okay, but we already got the strategy. The second thing to get unstuck is you need a good story. And we talked about that briefly. The story, what it is that you're focusing on and what does it mean? So your story, my question to you is it empowering you or is it disempowering you? Because if it's not empowering you, you need to create a new story. And the last thing is that you need to change your state. You need to change your physiology. You need to listen to some pump up music. You need to change your morning routine. You know, I was thinking in my head, I was like, you know, some of y'all are just so zen and you've got music like this at your house. And you're just like, oh, you know, so peaceful. And I'm like burning my smoky sage and I got my Himalayan salt lamp and just listening to it, right? Like the rivers and the streams and the Enya and all sorts of stuff, right? So you guys have this going on nonstop. I'm like wanting to pass out listening to this right now, all right? Some of you guys, you just lost a distributor. A distributor just quit. You know, you decided to host a meeting and nobody showed up and you decided, you're like, I'm going to put on this song. Right? You know it. And you know how you feel. You're like, oh, this is never going to work. And you're crying yourself. You're like, oh, I'm never going to go Pro 3. You're just getting yourself in that state, right? You're pushing yourself into more depression. You're making yourself feel even worse. It's like, oh my God. So it's like, you guys, you got to change your body. You got to change your body. You know what is so crazy? So a woman at Harvard a couple years ago, she did a study and it was called Power Positions. And what she decided in the study, they did all this crazy stuff, is that if you stand for 2 minutes like Wonder Woman, do this with me. 2 minutes like Wonder Woman or like Superman, and you stand for 2 minutes this way, in just 2 minutes doing nothing else, your testosterone increases 20%. Your cortisol lowers 18%. Right? Your power stance. You are 33% more likely to make a risky decision. And as an entrepreneur, we got to make risky decisions all the time. Do I call this person? Do I text this person? Do I jump on the live? So the next time that you're free to jump on the live, you're like, boom. You're just like, I'm scared shitless, but I'm going to do it, right? You know, you just got to hold it for 20 or for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Guys, here's the thing, guys. Getting unstuck is not about changing your mind. You can't outthink your way unstuck. You got to change your body. So one of the things I've been doing is the first 90 minutes of the morning, I don't even open my phone. I don't even open my phone. My phone is now on airplane mode while I sleep. Number one, this is reducing the EMFs that are happening 3 feet from my brain. So this is really huge for you guys who are very sensitive to electronics. So it's on airplane mode. That way in the morning, I immediately start with my breath work. I want you to do this with me. Do a couple of them, okay? You're gonna go in very fast and then loud exhale, okay? Do this for 45 seconds. You'll nearly pass out because so many of you guys are not used to changing your breath work. So I immediately go and I sit at my little table at my bathroom vanity and I get oxygen in my body. So now I'm changing my state. I immediately go into reading, into prayer, into devotion, into intention, into journaling. And then finally, I go back to my phone, I grab the phone. So instead of immediately turning on the phone and being reactionary and responding to everybody else's fires and desires and needs and wants and everything, I get my most important stuff. And the last thing that I do, and I usually after I grab my phone, is I head to the gym. And this has been huge. I had a surgery in January, so I had about 10 weeks off. Finally got cleared back, and it was life-changing for me, getting back into the gym. Ultimately, the thing you have to do is just move. You just have to move. I don't care if you put on a great song and you dance for a little bit. I don't care if you get a rebounder. I have a rebounder that's overlooking my backyard, and I'll rebound for a couple of minutes putting on a song. I don't care if you go to Zumba. I don't care if you do a walk. Just move. And if you guys begin to do these things, you're going to feel and start to get unstuck. You got this strategy. You're evolving your story, creating an empowering belief in yourself, and then you're changing your state. Guys, all by myself, you know, wallowing in your pain, wallowing in your lack of momentum, overthinking your business. You cannot outthink you cannot think yourself unstuck. You got to change your body. So we all need to be like this. This is my last song for you guys. This is Hadaway. Life will never be lost. Come on, baby. Life will never be the same. Woo! You guys, let's feel it. You guys have the best opportunity. You have the best leaders in front of you right now. You have the right strategy. You have the right story. Now you just got to change your state. Don't be that nickel in the mud. Don't be that nickel in the pavement. Your value is beyond called to be given to so many people. And I believe in you. I am so honored to just be asked to be on this call today. Hopefully it was helpful. Drop a little note in Team Heart United. Let me know if you guys liked it. This call is a wrap. Thanks so much, Shar.
Thank you so much, Rach. That was amazing. I've got 2 pages of notes. Love it. The comments, everybody's saying thank you, thank you. That was so good. We love you. We appreciate you, and we're so grateful for you. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for coming on. I'll put up a recording. Thank you.